what's up, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. So today's video is going to be me giving you guys advice on how to deal with periods on the go. Basically tips for like being on your period when you're traveling, because it is officially pretty much summer break. I mean, I know a lot of people are still in school and like taking final exams and everything like that, but for me, when I am filming this video, I'm finished all my final exams and I'm getting into my summer break. And I know summer doesn't really start till like the end of June, but it is pretty much summer break. And even if you're not watching this like right when it goes up, you can like watch this during summer break, or like I don't even know what I'm saying, but basically it's summertime and it's just about the time when people are getting off school and going to travel and stuff like that. And I feel like something no one talks about is like, how do you deal with having a period like while you're on the go and like out and about and traveling? Because personally for me, I got my first period on November 6, 2020, and so because of the pandemic, I haven't done that much traveling like when I'm on my period. My period's never like fallen when I'm going to be like traveling or something like that. But this summer I might be traveling a little, and my Flow app is actually predicting that I'm going to get my period obviously like a couple times this summer, but they're probably coming at like really inconvenient times for me. Like being on a plane or just like being in a car for a while. Traveling when you're on your period can be really brutal. So I would definitely watch this video like if you are planning on going on vacation or traveling this summer and you think your period's going to come, or just like if you want to be prepared if your period comes when you're traveling this summer. So yeah, I'm really excited to give you guys my tips on traveling when you have a period, just kind of like what you should really do to avoid period pain and like leaking and like dealing with a heavy flow when you're traveling, all that kind of stuff. Because as we all know, like anyone who has a period out there, periods are no fun when you're like at home, but when you're like traveling, all bets are off. And so it's really important to know exactly like how to manage having a period when you're traveling and stuff like that. Before I start this video, I would also just like to say that very recently, actually, my first book has been published on Amazon. And so if you're looking for just like a relatable teen book to read over the summer, then I would definitely recommend getting my book. I will have it linked down below, and I've done other videos about it on my channel before, like if you want to go watch those before deciding to buy it. And I would also just like to give a little disclaimer, because I get a lot of questions about this as someone who makes a lot of period videos on YouTube, just about like period irregularity. Periods are already so prone to be irregular like in the very beginning, like in the first few years of having a period. And this has actually happened to me. This happened to me last summer, but periods get even more irregular when you start traveling, between time zones. And I've heard stuff about like even when you're on a plane, that can really disrupt your menstrual cycle. It can make your period come earlier, or more commonly it can make it come later. And so I would just like to warn you that if you do experience a little more period irregularity when you are traveling, it should be completely normal. Check with your doctor obviously if it like really throws your whole menstrual cycle out of whack, but it is definitely normal to go through some menstrual irregularity when you're traveling, just because your body is kind of just trying to like adjust to your environment and everything like that. And anyway, I'm going to stop talking, or I always say this, it just sounds so dumb. Like I'm obviously going to keep talking, but I'm gonna actually get into the video now, and I'm going to be giving you guys 10 tips for how to deal with your period on the go, like tips for managing your period when you are traveling. And also, once I give you guys those 10 tips, I did ask you guys to ask me some questions like on my Instagram for any like questions that you have about traveling when you're on your period, just so like I can kind of address everything. So I will be answering those after I give you guys my 10 tips that I came up with for this video. So my first tip, and the reason I made this my first tip is like you'll see, but track your periods well. There will be nothing worse than if you are about to get on a plane, or like you're about to go on a long road trip, or just like you're about to go on vacation and travel or something like that, or you're just like about to go out and then your period unexpectedly shows up and you just weren't prepared. Tracking your periods well is the very first step in this process, because if you don't have a good tracking system in place, you're not going to know like how to prepare for like when your period will come, like when you're traveling. Like will it come on the actual day I'm like going to wherever I'm traveling to, or like when I'm coming home? It's just so important to know, and just to get to know your body better. I'm not going to go too much into this because I actually did do a whole video on how to track your period, so you can go watch that right here, and that will tell you basically like what I'm talking about. But here I'm just telling you like obviously you should learn how to track your period if you haven't already, or even if you just like don't do it that much. This summer is really the time, or just like whenever you're traveling, you don't have to be watching this in the summer, but when you're about to travel, tracking your period has never been more important, and it's really important to do this so that you aren't caught off guard. So basically it won't surprise you like when you're on vacation, or like even worse, like when you go to the bathroom on the plane, like that little bathroom, and then you just see a complete horror murder scene. But periods are irregular in the beginning, so even if you track your best, sometimes that doesn't even work. So that's moving into my next tips for just being prepared always. My second tip is to have a waterproof case for all of your period products. You want to bring way more than you think you need. You need to bring pads and panty liners and overnight pads and maxi pads, and if you use tampons, bring those too. Basically bring anything that you think you will need, because when you're on vacation or just traveling, you're not going to be able to like go to the drugstore in the airport. Like I don't even think airports have drugstores, and just go get pads. So it's really important that even if you don't think your period's gonna come at all, that is usually the time that it will surprise you, because periods are evil. And so it's really important to make sure that you are already prepared and like you can defeat that period and already have like pads and just everything that you need. And I said bring more than you think you need, because you will run out of pads a lot faster than you think on vacation, and you might not always have time, like if you're just out with friends or just out in general, you know what I mean. You won't always have time to like go get new ones, so it's always always important to pack those. And I did say a waterproof case because this just applies to like when you're traveling in general. Like let's say you're on a road trip or on a plane and like the bag is right next to like water bottles or something like that. Or let's say you're going on vacation to somewhere where there's like a beach or like a pool or something. You don't want all the products you pack to get wet, right? Right. So you don't want the water to leak through the bag that isn't waterproof, which is why you should get a waterproof bag for your period products. I will link a little waterproof pouch like case that you can put pads in down below. I really think it will be helpful like if you're traveling somewhere especially where there will be like water around so that you don't like waste all those period products. It's also just smart when you're traveling in general to pack stuff in a waterproof case so nothing will get ruined. My third tip, and there's actually kind of like a list for this, so I'm actually just reading it off my phone. Always make sure you have an extra pair of underwear, an extra pair of bottoms, wipes, and plastic bags. These are like basically the 4 essentials for what you need to have when you're on your period traveling, because I get so many comments all the time, which is part of what inspired me to make this video. I get so many comments saying that someone was on a plane or like they were at the airport or like on a road trip or something and they stained their underwear or they stained their bottoms or like they didn't have anywhere to then like put the stained underwear. You know what I mean? There's just like all those situations you can get into. And also like I titled this video on the go because even if you're just like going with like your friend overnight or something like that, you need to like obviously have all of this stuff, not even just when you're like traveling. So what's really important is to pack all of this. The underwear is obviously like for obvious reasons if you stain your underwear on the plane or something like that. And just a little sub tip to this, make sure you like don't pack this stuff in your actual suitcase. Make sure you pack it like in your carry-on, or like if you're on a road trip, make sure that you don't pack this stuff like in the suitcase in the trunk of the car. Like make sure you put it in your backpack so you have easy access to it. And obviously bring like the pants if like even worst case scenario happens and it leaks through your underwear onto the pants. And also bring wipes. They can be baby wipes or just stain removal wipes in general. I'll get more to like stain removing later, but this is just for like wiping up like stuff on your legs or like if you're sitting on a hard surface or just like on the plane or the car, like just do your best to like use a wipe to get the stain out. And also plastic bags. These can be Ziplocs or just something like that to actually put the stained underwear and pants in, because like for example, like if you're in a car with your family on a road trip or like on a plane with a bunch of people around, you're not going to want to like obviously have that all out for display, so you want somewhere to put it. So just bring a plastic bag and maybe even like a bag that like goes around the plastic bag, because like then people can't see through it and then you just won't get like other stuff dirty, you know what I mean? It's just good to like have somewhere to put like the actual stained clothes in. My fourth tip is for actually when you're packing for traveling or going on the go or whatever, and it is to pack comfortable dark clothing. I always pack, like now when I go on vacation since I've gotten my first period, clothes that I would wear if I got my period on vacation, even if I'm not expecting my period on vacation, because it's always just like so important to be prepared even if you don't think your period is going to come like when you're on vacation. So pack comfortable clothes, because it's not going to be any fun if you're like rushing around on vacation or just like traveling or whatever, especially like when you're in the airport and you have to like sit in one seat the whole time like for your plane and like waiting for stuff. Same for like a road trip, like in the car, like that would just not work, like just sitting there in like tight jeans or leggings, like ugh, especially when you're on your period. And also like dark clothes, because then if you do leak or stain, it won't show up as much. So make sure to pack a lot of these. I mean, you should probably pack a lot if you do know your period's going to come, but if you don't, I mean, just pack like a couple pairs of dark pants, even a dark sweatshirt to like tie around your waist, and make sure it's comfortable, because it's really important to not like when you're already kind of having period pain, like make yourself even more uncomfortable, especially like when you're bleeding down there. My fifth tip, and this is actually something that I'm planning to do this summer, like if I travel or just go out a lot like with my friends or something. Me saying that like I have a lot of friends. I literally have one best friend, guys. Like I don't know why I just said that. Like I have tons of friends and a huge perfect friend group. Like no. Sorry for being a little fake there. But anyway, I didn't do this last summer and honestly it was kind of risky, and it is to bring stain removal spray. And I know this is kind of a thing that you would like have like in your laundry room at home, but maybe get like a little travel size of this, or just like pump this stain removal spray into like a travel size bottle, because if you stain on the go and you don't want to like stain something really nice that like you packed for vacation, or just like your pants or something, or even like the seat of like the car or like the seat of an airplane, you obviously want to have that like in your carry-on or something like that, because it's really important obviously like for getting stains out, and you don't want to be upset that you left it at home and then stain something that you really loved. And like if you're in a hotel or something like that, or like at a friend's house or something, or like relative's house, it's just good to have like with you obviously, like if you're on your period, to avoid stains if you do stain, to like get the stains out. I will link some of my personal favorite stain remover spray that my mom uses to get stains out of the stuff that I stain when I'm on my period down below. My next tip is to wear overnight pads during the day instead of regular pads when you are on the go. And this is just because when you're like on the go, when you're at the airport, or like when you're on the airplane, when you're in a car like for a long time, or just like when you're at a sleepover, just hanging out, you know, like during the summer, just whenever you're like on the go, you aren't going to have as much time to change your pad. I mean, like as you would if you're just like sitting around at home. And so you don't want to have to like constantly worry about wearing like the regular pad and having to change it every couple hours. And so obviously you should change your pad a lot, especially when you're traveling, just to avoid infection. infection and bacteria and stuff like that. But if you do just like not want to worry about it and you want it to be like less of a nightmare for you, then just like wear an overnight pad right before you get onto the plane, especially if it's like a long plane ride, because overnight pads, most of them are designed to protect you for up to 12 hours. So if you have a really long plane ride, you won't even have to change your pad. And also like if you're in the car for a while and you don't want to have to like stop to change your pad, I just find like wearing overnight pads like when you're not sleeping and like when it's not overnight, that can be so helpful. I will link some really good overnight pads that like protect you for up to 12 hours down below. My next tip is to look into tampons or period swimsuits, and this is especially if you are going to be traveling somewhere where like you're expected to go swimming or like go to the beach or something like that, or like that's the point of the vacation, or like your friends want to go swimming or something. You want to do this before you are actually on vacation and you're like, oh my god, I just got my period, I can't swim now because I don't use tampons and I don't have a period bathing suit. So before you go on vacation, if you are expecting your period, look up how to use tampons, maybe even bring some. If you're not even planning on trying them, you can buy some tampons and pack them just in case you do decide to change your mind, like when you're already on vacation, you really do want to go swimming. Because personally, I haven't tried tampons yet. I probably will sometime in the next year or so, like when I go back to in-person school, because I have been doing online the past year. But I do get how scary tampons can be, so just really look into them and see if they are something that you could possibly do like before you go on vacation. Pretty much the whole point of this video is like just be proactive about stuff and like do it before you go on vacation so you don't have to worry about it like when you're traveling or whatever. And I keep saying like on vacation, but yeah, just like when you're on the go, so you don't have to worry about it like when you're on the go. Or try buying a period bathing suit and like experimenting with that before you go on vacation, or like buy one for vacation if you know you're gonna have your period like when you want to go to the beach or swimming. This way you don't have to use a tampon and you can really just try something new, and you can try like a really cool invention that is a period swimsuit. I've never tried one, but they sound so cool. My next tip is to use your neck pillow as something to help you with your cramps. I know this sounds really weird, but like, you know those neck pillows that like you wear on a plane or like on a road trip or something, just like if you want to sleep or something. I'll like obviously insert a picture here, but they have heated versions of these, and just imagine, like obviously it depends on like if you don't want it to be like too tight around your stomach, then obviously like don't. But if you get like a big one or whatever, or you don't even have to like wrap it around your stomach, but just like hold it there, you know what I mean? And that way you don't have to like obviously like pack a separate heating pad, because that's like very inconvenient for travel. But this can kind of be like a traveling heating pad. So like if you're sleeping like with your neck pillow and then you get kind of crampy because you're on your period like while you're on vacation or traveling or whatever, just kind of wrap it around your stomach casually, and it should really help soothe those like cramps and stuff because it'll be like warm and pressure. And relating to this, my next tip is to figure out ways to manage your period pain like when you're on the go. And this is because period pain like cramps and back pain or headaches or whatever, it can really get in the way of you having fun when you're traveling or like on vacation or like hanging out with your friends wherever you're going, like on the go or whatever. And so it's important to think of solutions to this like before you travel. So there are actually like these little like hand warmer things that are actually for your hands like in the winter to keep them warm, but if you like use them on the go for your cramps, you can just like casually press it against your stomach or your back or like your neck or wherever you're having period pain. And these are still like small, so they're really good for travel. I'll link some down below. You can also discuss with your parent or guardian or like your doctor for bringing pain medication on traveling days or like vacation or whatever, because sometimes this can just really help to like ease your pain. Some people do want more natural approaches to easing period pain, but if you are someone who just wants to like take some pain medication so you don't have to worry about like period pain when you're on a road trip or like on the plane or whatever, this could be a really good solution. But it's really important to talk to like obviously your parent or guardian or like a trusted medical professional and not me before deciding to take pain medication. Also, like sometimes just distracting yourself can help. Like you don't want to just be sitting on the plane or in the car like constantly being miserable about the period pain that you're going through. So maybe pack a journal and like write about how you're feeling, or like make a really good travel like period playlist when you're on the plane, or for like when you're on the plane or like on the road or whatever. Or just like find something, like pack some yummy snacks or figure out which movies you're going to watch or something that will just distract you from the period pain. And my last tip of this video, which is actually a really important one, is don't forget to hydrate. When you are traveling especially, it is so much more easy for you to get dehydrated. Like if you're in the car for a while, or if you're on the plane, or like if you're just out and about, like you're forgetting to drink water. And especially like if you have like a day full of like activities planned for like you're traveling or whatever, it's so easy to like lose sight of like drinking water. And especially when you're on your period, you're already losing fluids from like losing a lot of blood and other fluids. And you're also usually like when you're like traveling or whatever, usually eating more like salty snacks and stuff like that. So you're just at such a high risk for dehydration. And it's so important not just like to avoid dehydration, but just to make yourself feel so much better like when you have a period and you're traveling. Don't forget to stay hydrated, drink a lot of water. And now I'm going to answer a few of your questions that you asked me on my Instagram, like just like on the Instagram box obviously that I put out. How to hide pads. So I know that a lot of people can be really embarrassed like on road trips or just like, you know, on a plane, like hiding pads and stuff. Like you don't want people to see the period products. I would just recommend having like a little pouch that looks like kind of a makeup bag, or like I was talking about earlier, like a waterproof case that isn't see-through. How do you deal with it like when you're just sitting in it? So honestly, this is really uncomfortable and I totally understand what you're talking about. I would recommend getting up and shifting positions whenever you can. I mean, obviously just sitting in it will be really uncomfortable. So when you're on the plane, whenever you can, just get up and walk around a little. And you might not want to do this because you'll be afraid of leaking, but if it's just sitting there like concentrated in one spot the whole time, you actually have a bigger chance of leaking. And also like the same, like if you're in a car or something, like make sure you like shift around in your seat so that it's not just like all pooling in the same spot in your pad. What to do when you're traveling on your period and can't go to the bathroom. This is exactly why I said earlier in the video to wear an overnight pad, because that way you don't have to change your pad a lot. And something you can even do is like layer your pads. Like you could wear 2 regular pads like next to each other, if that makes any sense, just for like maximum coverage. And also make sure you go to the bathroom like right before you leave for like your travel day or whatever. Anyway guys, that is it for this video. Thank you so much for watching it, and I really hope that this video was able to help you out. Definitely make sure to comment down below what your favorite tip of this video was, and also like if you've traveled on your period before and like you have some really good tips for like when you travel on your period, like definitely feel free to share those down below, because I just want us to all help each other out, because traveling on your period is no fun and we need all the tips we can get. And so yeah, before you leave, please like this video, and if you made it to the end of this video, comment down below traveling on your period. And also please subscribe to my YouTube channel, because if you did not know already, I do so many period videos. I have a whole period playlist on my channel that has so many videos in there, and also just like relatable teen girl videos. I'm 1000% real on here with you guys, and you all know that like if you've been subscribed to me for a while. So definitely make sure to subscribe if you are interested in content like that, because also for this summer I have so many period videos planned and just like other summer related videos planned, and eventually back to school videos around August, September. So definitely if you have not already, make sure to subscribe so that you can see those. And yeah, that is it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching it, and I love you guys. Bye!